whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Let's start all the way back at the beginning. Can you tell me, when did you first realize you had a love of acting?
Gosh, you know, I was about 5 or 6 years old. I took an acting class at our local museum in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I got to play a witch. I painted my face green and I made these crazy twisted eyebrows, and I just felt myself transformed into this witch that I got to play. And from that moment on, I've always loved playing characters.
You moved out here to Los Angeles, you auditioned for Nightmare on Elm Street, and you land the role of Nancy Thompson. This is a lead role in a feature film. Explain to me how you felt in that moment.
I'll tell you really honestly, I thought, a horror movie? Only maybe 10 or 15 years later, when Nightmare on Elm Street takes on this cult status, have I been able to really change a lot of my point of view about that.
So Nightmare comes out, it's a huge success. It spawns several sequels, 2 of which you are in.
Nancy.
And somewhere along the lines, Nancy Thompson becomes an icon for LGBT horror fans.
I love it. I made a documentary about Nancy because I thought there's so much about her that has remained like unsaid. One of the things I really did want to discuss was why the LGBT community found her to be such a touchstone for their own experiences. And it turns out it gave people someone to hold on to as an example of someone who was brave.
Now, we spoke with Robert Englund earlier this week, and he told us a wonderful story about how he knew that both you and Nancy were destined to become horror gay icons. As early as 1985, he said he was at a Halloween party and he saw several gay men dressed as Nancy in drag. Full wig with the gray streak, full get up.
Awesome. God, I wish I could see that.
Don't fall asleep in there. You could drown, you know. Oh, for Pete's sakes.
What do you think hearing this now?
Well, I think more people need to dress up as Nancy for Halloween. First of all, there's way too many Freddys out there.
In addition to LGBT people, Nancy has been a huge icon for women. Major concern in Hollywood, pay equity between men and women. What has your experience been like with that particular subject working in Hollywood?
I experienced it extremely brutally because I really did feel that I deserved pay equity with Robert Englund, especially on the final movie when I was playing myself in a movie that, you know, was a big franchise by then, and it was pretty much roundly laughed at and, you know, rejected out of hand. And I really wasn't brave enough. I wasn't as brave as probably Nancy Thompson would have been in that situation. I should have said, you know, screw you and go find yourself another Heather Langenkamp to play Heather Langenkamp.
If you had the chance, would you play Nancy one more time now? And how would you like to see her come back?
I would play her again because what was so unique about Nancy, and you saw her as a girl moving into womanhood in Nightmare 1, and then you saw her as this kind of young adult moving into more of a mature adult in Nightmare 3, and then in Nightmare 7 you see her as a mother. I think that there's one more role for her.
Miss me.
And her interactions with Freddy might be in the old age home.
That's a fun I'd love to see.
When they give her the wrong drugs for her Alzheimer's disease, maybe that's the next Nancy you'll see.